Hey.
Hey, hey,
Pastor Larry.
true as charged.
All right.
How was your day, Pastor Larry?
As always, had a big time. How about you, Bill?
I had a family walk-in crisis management. Finally, I said, I gotta get ready for church. I'm not prepared. Everything's okay. You know, just all of a sudden the kids are afraid I'm gonna get dementia and where am I going and blah, blah, blah. So, I'll be 80 next month, and so now they're getting concerned.
My kids started shopping years ago for nursing homes that would promise to beat me.
Hi, Janet.
Hello, Bill. And
Janet can't. Yeah. Yes.
I will say that Taylor called home after church yesterday, so that worked out real well.
Okay. Good.
All right.
Good.
Keep
I'm-
getting this message that my
Wait,
connection is unstable. I don't know if they don't know if I'm unstable or Zoom is unstable.
That's what tipped your kids off.
I think so.
It's a little bit of all of it, Bill.
I think that comes with the territory of internet access on back roads. I'm scanning through my emails, looking for relevant things, and then now kicking myself because I never did get to sign documents for church conference. I have a 5-minute walk to the church to do this, and been like a month to do this, and I have not done it yet. I don't know why.
Robert,
Yeah.
you're a mess.
Yeah, it's just not, I've got a certain cycle of places I go and things I do, and that's not part of it anymore. So it's, you have to have an extraordinary reason to, break out of that. So,
And sometimes it's the worst thing in the world to have it convenient and have plenty of time.
yeah. Anytime. That's easy. I'll get to that. Good point. That's a good point. Yes.
Daughter Tina walked in after she left there. She came back. She had 20 pieces of wet mail that had been in the wrong mailbox that I've never used, and it's on the fringe of the property line, and it's rolled steel, and there's no way it's going to come out and actually belong to the neighbor across the road. Included was my absentee ballot that was denied, and I got to see what did I do wrong. So I'm running out of time. It'd be easy enough to drive down the Hartwood Presbyterian and get in line, but it might be raining that morning.
That's what I'm
The
gonna do.
parking lot might be jam-packed.
Well,
Bill, go to the airport for early voting. It's easy. When I was there, I was the only person there. And Wanda and Carol went on Saturday, and they were the only.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no lines. It's easy. It takes 2 or 3 minutes.
yeah,
Is
just go
it a
early
long-
vote.
Which airport?
Stafford Airport.
Is it a long line to get in there?
No, there wasn't anybody there either times.
Can't do it in your car, can you?
What?
No, you cannot do it in your car.
Do I have to get out of my car?
Yes. But there's nobody there.
But what if he calls and says he's handicapped and asks them to come to the car? I would think they'd have to.
I would think they would try, because I mean, there's like 8 people sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah, I'd give it a try, Bill.
Okay.
Tell them you got dementia and you're 80 years old.
I mean, like I said, I was done in 2-3 minutes.
But Ann, they all ran when they saw you
That
come.
was
That might be true.
I can't believe that.
Oh, I can.
Thank you, Jen.
I'm gonna go get my phone and nag Robbie Thomas to get on.
Yeah, Robbie was trying to get on last.
Okay.
Monday.
Oh. Did you say he was getting on now?
No, last Monday.
Oh,
And he should be early now.
I don't know what he was trying to log on to, but he kept complaining that he couldn't get on no matter what he did.
that would be my buddy.
Yeah, of course, I hadn't sent the link out yet, so I don't know what he was trying to log on. Probably last month's meeting.
If it was last Monday, he needs help on reading the calendar.
Robbie needs a lot of help.
Robbie needs a lot of help.
Bless his heart. I love him to death.
Bill, as soon as Janet gets done, I think we should fire ahead.
Oh, go on.
I think so. I'm counting heads up there and trying to determine who we are missing. Now, Sally won't be here. Nancy won't be here.
Oh, that's right.
And Lynn is here. I haven't seen her log on. Lynn?
She's logged on. She's just muted.
Okay.
Mute it.
Yes, hello.
There she is.
Hi.
Hi.
Lynn.
Hey, Bill, when I voted 4 years ago when I was on crutches, I went to the Hartwood Presbyterian Church to vote. Kenny took me, of course, and they came to the car
Yeah.
and let me vote in the car. They let Kenny vote in the car as well. And I was getting ready to get out, and somebody came and said, "No, ma'am, don't you get out." So they brought it to me.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Now, Bill, that doesn't mean you have to drive into the.
I've been encouraged to vote twice.
Well, that's normal in Chicago.
Vote early and often.
Yes.
There's
I
that.
was in college at Eastern Illinois University at election time, and this man had $20 if I'd go vote for so-and-so. And I was scared to do that. I could have used the $20, but I didn't do that. He gave away a lot of 20s that day. And that was a local election down in Charleston, Illinois. Well, Janet, the bad news, no one has volunteered except for you to take minutes.
I got my pencil.
The good news is
Go.
I'm
Okay.
recording the
Looks like you're
session,
opening my eye.
so you don't even have to take notes now. I can forward you the recording.
Okay, that's great.
Okay, good. Well, let's try and do a roll call then. I told you 2 that were missing. Who else is missing? We're missing 4.
Robbie Thomas,
Robbie
Sally.
is one. And,
I'm always missing.
yeah, Robbie, Sally. But there's one of our
David.
9. Who?
Is it David?
David Weitzel.
I didn't hear the name.
David Weitzel.
Yeah, David Weitzel. Okay. Got it. So with that, call to order. Robert Smith has devotions. Are you prepared, Robert?
You're muted, buddy.
Maybe that's a good thing. Because I did forget till now. So I do have stuff I read this morning in the Bible. Let's see, what was I looking at? She was Roman, not that, was that one? I went to that one. There we go. Is that one? I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Here we go. Romans 5. Let's see. Talking about contrasting the sin of Adam and its effects with the sacrifice of Jesus and its effects. And verse 17, for if because of one man's trespass, death reigned through that one man, much more will those who receive the abundance of grace and the free gift of righteousness reign in life through the one man, Jesus Christ. That it's not just that we get forgiven and go to heaven and have all this good stuff for us. It's like, because of what Jesus has done for us, because of his grace and his righteousness, our destiny, our calling is to reign in life through Jesus here. That we are a royal priesthood. Been reading this book by N.T. Wright, who talks about that a lot. As royalty, we are to implement God's rule and loving reign on this earth, showing his wisdom, showing his love here, spreading the message of his kingdom. And as priests, royal priests, as priests, we're to be both bringing the praise of all creation to God. We're the ones praising God in the creation that he deserves, and it's only rightfully his. And we're interceding, we're praying to God, the needs and wants of this world and of humanity. And it's what God called Israel to do, and they failed at, and Jesus did fulfill, and now in Jesus, we are fulfilling that same job, reigning in life through Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Robert.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Last month's meeting minutes. Sally had no corrections. I saw no corrections. Anyone have anything for last month's minutes? If not, we accept those through consensus. The minutes are approved. Financial, do we have any money?
Yes, we have money. And I know I sent out the attachment late this afternoon.
have money.
So I don't know if anybody really has had any time to look at them, but just real quick, the bottom line is approximately $17,500 to the good. With the apportionments not being paid yet for the quarter, and that is one of my questions for you all tonight is, do you want me to go ahead and pay the third quarter? Yeah, apportionments, which will be $6,700. That would represent July, August, September. And I will
I vote yes, we need to get them paid.
I'm sorry, say again.
The bill says, I vote to go ahead and pay the third quarter.
Okay.
Anyone opposed?
Nope.
Okay, I'll take care of that. And again, if there are any questions, you guys have only had about 45 minutes to look at this. We could talk about.
I have 3 emails from you here. I don't see an attachment on any one of them.
Oh, please.
I'm the same way. I
Really?
didn't really bother you as you were, really.
But we believe you, Janet.
Okay, I get that. And I will attempt, I don't want to, spend time trying to send this out and you guys looking at it right now, but I can do that if you so wish me to do that.
I did get the mortgage.
Later, no hurry, Janet. I would like
Okay.
to see.
Did you get the mortgage
see the
schedule?
first
The mortgage
report or
schedule
the
file I sent?
cover sheet.
Yes.
You got that? Okay.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't get it. I'll try again. But that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions. That's all I have, unless anybody has any questions.
Janet, I think it's because you sent a reply.
What is
to
the,
previous email and attachments fall off when you do the reply to a previous email.
You think so? Well.
But there'll be time for that later.
Yes.
The one thing that you mentioned last month, Bill, is that we might want to talk about how much money we want to keep in reserve and whether it's time to lower that reserve so that we can pay more of the mortgage.
Agree. We are paying $25 per day in interest to Janet's bank. I think we're at what we're up to. I don't have that report, Janet. We're up to at least 20 months, 21 months
Well,
in the building fund reserve.
if the building fund alone, we have less than 10 months. Now we do have our third account. Remember, we have 3 accounts. We have the operating general fund account. We have the building fund account, and we have another, say, savings. It's a money market account. So the building fund account, which is where we put all our donations currently into, has approximately less than 10 months of payments in it. If you want to take some of the money out of that, I mean, this is something we could do, that money market account. If you include that, that's got about 14 months of payments in it. So that would, you kind of have to look at what we want to do. I think, and then of course the general fund, I'd have to look at the monthly, because I should have done that today, what we're spending monthly to factor in, you know, how many months you want to keep just in an operating expense, emergency fund type of thing.
There's, in the current economic climate, there's no way we're making as much money on a money market fund as we're spending on interest for a mortgage.
Yeah, well, yeah, rates are just, I mean, it's just kind of fun, but that's what it's labeled. If you look on the cover sheet, yeah, the money market, nothing earns any interest these days. I mean, you might get $1 per month or something like that. So there's no advantage to keeping a money market fund, you know, an extra fund really right now. So,
When
and
we
that's why
voted to,
and that's why I kind of came up with this extra mortgage file that you guys, we could play with the, like what if scenario, if we have a balance, if we were to take, for instance, and apply everything that's in the building fund right now and close it out, we've got $18,500 in there. So we could reduce our current, I can get this thing to work. We could reduce our current principal balance, which is $193,700. So we could take that. Oh, I can't do it there. Who? Oh, I'm gonna round it and say we'll put 173,000 and start out from there. If we were to do that, I know you were targeting, said something about $150,000. We'd hit 150,000 in February of 2022. And then we could have, how many months that would be. And I could play with this a little bit and figure out. We'd be a year away from, I said 24, that's right. Away from paying it off in, if we just pay our monthly payment out of that other fund. So, I mean, it depends on what you guys want to do, I guess. Kind of need to get,
I think a council meeting is a terrible time to
exactly.
figure and decide something like this. I recommend that Janet, Lynn, and Bill take a look at the figures and make a recommendation. And I don't think we need to wait a month on it. I think if we get a recommendation from you all, we can do an internet straw poll. If you feel more comfortable with it, you can make 2 or 3 different recommendations. I wouldn't make more than 3 proposals. Really, I'd be comfortable with 2 and say, okay, we could do this or we could do that. But it makes no sense to be saving money that you're losing money on.
Right. And I wonder if we decide to, I mean, apply a big chunk of what we have on this mortgage, is that something solely controlled by the leadership board, or does it require more transparency with the congregation?
It is solely managed by the leadership board. I would recommend that you tell the congregation.
Yeah.
But the congregation has entrusted this group with making those financial decisions. That's what we're here for.
All right, then.
I would just say that, though the loan is,
Our concern,
you know, has more interest being paid on it than the money market's earning. At the same time, it's like having cash on hand is flexibility for the future. It's
Well, and
lets you
no,
anticipate things you don't anticipate now. You know, you can take care of things you didn't foresee now. That's all.
and that's exactly true, Robert. And I need to take a look at, you know, what our monthly expenses are and kind of factor in how many months of emergency fund do we need, would we be comfortable with? And I guess Lynn and Bill and I can also look at that as when we look at the mortgage.
Yeah, the biggest concern is what if, you know, a boiler blows up or something like that, and you worry about the physical plant. I don't know what Sharon has discovered, but there's a spot in the floor of the sanctuary that has hoved up in our absence.
Ooh.
And you know, I don't know what's going to be involved with that. You want to have something on hand. At the same time, those capital expenses are things that if you tell folks in the church, hey, we've got an unexpected expense, folks tend to pony up for that kind of thing. And so we don't have to plan for all contingencies. I think it's a for-profit, not-for-profit. It makes sense to keep a certain number of months' expense on hand at all times. We all know that. But I think that it'd be fair to say that your financial status is more on the conservative side, and it makes more sense in an economic climate where the interest-bearing accounts are close to keeping up with the interest on a mortgage. But right now, the best way you can get a return on your investment is to pay on the principal.
Mhm.
I'm not saying
everyone in agreement with that?
I'm not saying we should drain all the accounts. And when it comes to this stuff, I'm going to leave you all hanging because I'm not in it. You know, this ain't my call. But I think Bill is right. I think we've been more conservative about keeping a cash cushion, and actually that kind of thing can become a damper.
Mhm.
Because folks start asking questions and they say, well, look at all the money they've got in arrears. They don't need me to give $20. They've got all the money in the world. So it can actually become a counterweight.
I agree with you, Larry.
That was our concern. Our concern in March, April was, will our giving or offering come down because we're not face to face? And the last 5 months have shown that that's not true. Our offering is still up. And so it's time to make some decisions on what to do with our healthy balance. So Janet and I and
Lynn,
we'll get together, conference call, email, whatever, and at least work to begin drawing down the mortgage principal for the remainder of this year and into 2021. Okay. What is our insurance payment due in November? Is it about 6,000 now? We brought it down from 7,000 last year.
forgotten all about that. In fact, I bet the packet's sitting in the box at church. I better look at that.
There's an idea.
Okay, well, let's look at that and
Yeah, I have it.
third and
I'll
fourth
have to go
quarter
find it.
apportionments.
Yeah. Because that's the other big
Okay.
expense that's due.
While we're on financial minutia, the Comcast bill has started creeping up again,
I've seen that.
and I could go to jousting with them again and get it reduced again. However, Mike Gentile has been going through the building. Mike is willing to pay for us to go to a ring system. Again, I'm not going to go into all the advantages of a ring system versus the security system that we do have, but they are many and manifold. For example, our security system is pretty much fire only. There is one CO1 sensor near the gas stove. The ring system would include, for example, sensors that would show us if the pipes have frozen, if there's water leakage. And when we go with the ring system, then we're going to be able to go entirely to an internet-based system and do away with the copper lines. Now that time is coming whether we want to do it or not, because phone companies are doing away with copper lines. So it's something that's gonna happen. We might as well be proactive about it rather than reactive. And once this is in place, we can have both security systems working at the same time and make sure everything is working before we consider moving to an internet-only system at the church. But there is absolutely no need for us to continue to pay the prices that Comcast is demanding, and that will also greatly reduce our prices that we're paying for our current security system, and we'll get a whole lot more coverage, including outside and inside surveillance. You know, we've had somebody visiting the church lately who has been run off from other churches because he's appointed himself the caretaker of those churches. And we have no way of knowing if he's coming back or not. With the ring system, we'll be able to tell that. And we'd get a notice that he's there before we'd even before Michelle would show up and be at risk. So we can do a full proposal so you can see what all is involved. What you need to know is the level of coverage is going to go way up and the cost is going to go way down. So it's kind of a no-brainer, but just wanted you to know that's coming. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying about the ring system as a surveillance monitoring security thing. How does that change the internet provider situation?
So I'm not sure if there will be any other internet provider available or if Comcast is the only one. What I do know is that because we're a business system, we have to buy a complete package in order to provide the copper lines for that security system.
Oh, okay. So we won't need those copper lines anymore.
We won't need the copper lines anymore, and we're paying for cable TV that nobody uses.
Yeah,
And that's because the package is cheaper than
Yeah.
getting it a la carte. But if you go strictly to internet, then
Got it.
your voice
Okay.
is over it. It's just a no-brainer.
Got it.
When do you think we'll be ready for a package proposal?
Certainly by next month. Mike is going to start.
Okay.
Mike has already started ordering the gear for it.
Okay. All right.
And again, he's paying for all of it out of pocket.
Right. Let's move on to in-person worship. You help me out, Pastor. The HCT team met. Attendance was very poor on Zoom, but Pastor followed up with email to individuals, and we have a consensus that no one can agree on should we go to 2 or 3 for in-person worship, and that may have changed because it seems like every day the situation's getting a little worse with the virus that we're looking at. Latest I heard was it's now 40 states that have seen an increase in infections in the last 4 weeks, and so it may be a long winter. That has
48
tremendous
there.
bearing on pursuing classification. I'm sorry,
It's 48.
couldn't hear you.
48 states.
Oh, 48 states. Okay. Okay. I heard 40 this morning. All right. So bottom line is, I think we're ahead of the curve in considering 2 or 3, but that's just Bill. I want the pastor's input here. Don't want us to waste time and effort for something that's not going to happen until spring. Last time Pastor Larry had heard from the district or conference, I think the words were, it's not going to happen soon. And that was talking about going to 3. Pastor Larry?
Yeah, so I've talked individually with everyone on the Healthy Church team. We have 2 who have abstained, 1 who said it looks like a good proposal to go ahead with stage 2. The rest of the committee feels like the requirements of the stage 2 with the risks that we're looking at now are more than they want to consider. So the tipping point for some of the people who were discussing this is the fact that we're required under stage 2 to ask health questions of everyone attending, to have them pre-register in advance, to keep those health questions on hand in a locked file at the church, and do that every week. In addition, of course, to the sterilization requirements and the cleaning requirements and so forth. It's something that larger churches with larger staff are managing to do, but we have a limited number of volunteers we can rely on to. They want us to continue to park people 6 feet apart while we're having stage 2, to monitor their behavior in the parking lot, to have only one way in and one way out, and keep people 6 feet apart as you're coming in and going out. and once we get in there, you're not supposed to take your mask off. You're supposed to stay 6 feet apart from one another. You're not supposed to interact in any way. No fist bumps, no handshakes, not even an elbow touch. It is not what we had hoped for. And at the risk of the bishop listening in on this conversation, I'll tell you the truth. I'm getting envious of my Baptist Independent Church neighbors. I'm looking over the fence at them and saying, you know, I'd love to be able to just say, okay, if you're not comfortable, don't come. If you are comfortable, come. We just don't have that option. We have, and by the way, I just sent out a new list of revisions from the conference Healthy Church team. I think it was today. They have added new restrictions for those who are recording music or perform. They did acknowledge that groups of under 10 have been gathering at churches, and that those have not been monitored up to this point. There's new restrictions they've put on there for monitoring those groups that haven't been monitored. I think everybody who talked about this stuff is of two minds. One is we're getting really frustrated, and we're really concerned that so far our church is doing fine, but we can't do this forever. And the other thing, as Bill is saying, is right now it looks like the news is getting worse instead of better. And so the overall mood of the group was to tell you that we're not of all one mind, but there are a lot of concerns at this point. And if you're going to dive into stage 2, it's going to take an awful lot of work. I can't do it all myself. We're going to have a lot of volunteers doing a lot of cleaning, a lot of directing, a lot of enforcing. So it's kind of bounced back to the council to decide, do we want to continue to wait for stage 3 to come, knowing that stage 3 may not come till springtime, if then, or do we want to dive in and make this happen, even though it's not the kind of worship we're looking for? Bill, have I covered it?
I think you have. One of the big negatives is no music. You're wearing a mask, no music from the choir or the praise band or any of that. Might as well have a radio, and then two spokesmen for the team. Mike Kerr says we've got to have restrooms, and Sharon is against using the fellowship hall. She doesn't think there's enough space there. We can agree or disagree on that. Personally, I feel like we need to stay up with the daily news on what is going on. And I know the bishop and the council is doing that. I suggest we hold off on making any firm plans at this point to move into the sanctuary or the fellowship hall for face-to-face worship. We're just not ready. Who disagrees with Pastor and I?
So this is,
Silence is deafening.
No, well, I concur with your comment. I can support that. I think it with, and I agree with the recent news. They say the next, I believe, 8 to 12 weeks is going to be bad for us. So we, at least can wait. But I definitely agree in thinking that to even do this, it's going to take a lot of manpower in the church. And I'm not against hard work. But it's like Larry says, we don't want to be the only ones having to do it. So, I mean, and then on the other hand, if the news in a couple of weeks is not as they predicted, which I find hard to believe, then we can give it a go, give it a try. Once a month. It certainly wouldn't be something I could envision doing every week at first. I think now you just kind of go in slow. That's my 2 cents.
go ahead, Ann.
I kind of agree with Janet. I think we need to wait 4 or 6 weeks and see what happens. Because I truly believe it's going to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I wasn't going to call any names, but Ann, you were my only strong affirmative about going to stage 2, and now I hear you saying maybe not. So
Things are picking up, so
New information is coming late.
no need to be stupid at this point. We've done the right thing up until now.
okay, I'm going to assume that we're all of one mind, that we're not any of us of one mind about this, but that we're accepting what is, whether we like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
That brings up 2 questions. One of them is we were considering doing strictly a drive-through, chunk things in the window kind of a Halloween celebration as a way to attract the community and try to let them know we're still in business. To me, it feels like a hard sell that I'm not going to be there on All Saints Day, but we're going to be there on Halloween. That makes no sense to me. But if we can reach people, that makes sense. Along with that, I want a banner. I want a banner that tells the community driving by, we're not dead in the water. We're still active. I don't know I wanted to wait until we get this meeting done tonight before I suggest what to put on the stinking banner.
Okay.
If we were going to start having services, I wanted to put it on there. And I want to hasten to say, I'm not trying to push or pull on this one way or the other. If you all are all of one mind and you want to go with stage 2 worship requirements, I'm right there with you. But if you're not of one mind, there's no need to try to push that rock up that hill right now. Having said that, I want the community to know we're not dead in the water. We're not closed. We're not gone. I want a banner that says something about Facebook Live, join us on Zoom. I want them to know we're still there. I'm wide open for suggestions about what it should say. I just learned a couple of weeks ago that I can do a Zoom meeting and can simulcast it on Facebook Live. Let me tell you what that means. up until this point, we've had 25 or 30 people watching our worship video.
Good.
Since Zoom, since I've been doing it on Facebook Live, we've been running about 150.
Good.
So being able to tell people to find us on Facebook is a big stinking deal. You've seen the banners around at other churches that are saying, join us on Zoom, join us for Facebook Live. Robert, you're looking querulous. Tell me what's going through your mind.
You're on mute, buddy. There you go.
Just listening. Sorry, that's what I was saying. So no, nothing, wasn't.
Now Larry's on mute.
Bill, your thoughts? Dan Timmons, your thoughts? Lynn?
I think you come up with a banner that said, join us on Facebook Live or whatever you have to do it. Because a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, I would say that the community doesn't know we're meeting every week.
Mhm.
And I want them to know.
Get 2 banners, because putting it on that corner doesn't catch them going both ways. Get one to put down further in the yard. You probably know where I mean, but yeah, and I just, get yourself a big one. Get one bigger than what you've got out there now about the racism and hatred. And I'm not going to be a good one to say what to put on it, because in some of these, I think probably the people that create these banners, you may be able to consult with and say, what are people putting on these things, to get the message across? Although I think you are very good at communicating how to do that.
I was thinking, you know how Little Caesars has those signs that they spin around on the street corner. I was thinking we could give one of those to Robert.
Hey, I think we could get some of the youth out there to I think that'd be every kid's dream, to stand on the corner and twirl a sign. Take turns.
Of course, the youth leader had to be there with them.
That's all right. I'll probably be making them go do something, and I'll be out there twirling it.
Good job.
Now we go back to
Good job for Robbie.
we did talk about a digital sign at one point. I don't know if we ever did look into the cost of those darn things, but that, may be something that we're getting closer to needing, honestly, because.
But I would love to have that. Of course, the banners are way cheaper.
Right.
But they're not
quicker.
nearly as effective and not nearly as easy to change, are they?
No.
What else? I'm sorry, I've just skipped a groove. I'll come right back. You guys go ahead and talk amongst yourselves.
I'd say spend the money and go get it.
Oh, I remember. Ann can share a little about this, but she had some ladies get together for an under 10 number gathering at her house this past Saturday. And one of the ladies there has some children who were getting cards from our youth leader, and they were thrilled. They were thrilled with that. They said that really made a difference to those kids.
Oh, good.
So let's continue. In fact, let's double down. If we're not going to do trunk or treat, let's stinking send some chocolates to kids. Let's make sure that they're highly allergenic and chocolates that will
Full of
make
peanuts and chocolate.
yeah.
stickers and all kinds of things.
Can we make up a bag and hand deliver to the kids?
You know, you took the idea right out of my mind, because I've thought about doing that, and it's just putting some bags together and just hand delivering them.
Mm-hmm. I'd be glad to help you.
Oh, that'd be great. In fact, I've started collecting some supplies. Just, I didn't know what we wanted to do for Halloween, so I was picking up a few things just to hand out. Same idea, to throw them in the window of cars going by if we wanted to. Didn't know what we were gonna do, so yeah.
Yeah, all of the Halloween candy these days is prepackaged, so it would be safe. We can just put it in a zip bag, and
Right.
if they're, yeah, it would be fun to, you know how y'all did for my birthday? That was in stinking June. Can you believe it's been that long? Wouldn't it be great to get together a caravan from the church and map out a route to take bags to kids, and just do a caravan and go blow the horn and say, we love you all, we haven't forgotten you all, here, overdose on sugar and chocolate.
We can dress up and give them all a big laugh. That's an idea, actually. What are the Gaudios gonna do for Halloween? Are they planning on doing anything trick or treat?
Clark says he's going to trick or treat,
Yeah.
but his mother's not agreeing with him, so that's still to be determined.
All right. Well, and that I like Larry's idea, expanding on it. Just get in the car, dress up, go, drop things off. So yeah, kind of sketch it out and see what we come up with. So do we want to do that and scratch the drive-through activity bags or candy at church, or does Larry, do you want to still do that?
I'm feeling like it's hard to explain to people why we're doing trunk or treat and we're not doing
And on
anything else.
right, I get it, and I agree.
But it wouldn't be hard to explain to people why we're doing a small caravan to drop off candy to our kids and tell them that, that would be, I'm sure Michelle could help you, but that would be your gig to figure out who are the kids we can take things to, and where can we drive to in one caravan.
Anne, can I change subject and ask Anne about Thanksgiving boxes? Are you guys going to do those? Because that was another thing I was thinking about, activity bags to go into.
We talked to the schools and they said there's a greater need now than there's ever been. And, so we're going to do about 20 boxes.
Okay.
And I guess I need to get with Michelle and have her put it in the news items. Is it okay if people bring this stuff to the church and drop it off?
Yeah. We've been going in 1 or 2 days a week, and we try to go in on Tuesdays, so there's some consistency. What would probably be best if is it non-perishable stuff?
Yeah,
Ann,
it's
or would it all
non-perishables.
be-
We just, the day before we go and buy turkeys and hams and put one in each box. Turkeys for Thanksgiving, hams for Christmas, but everything else is non-perishable.
And you guys need to use the refrigeration in the kitchen for all that, don't you?
For the turkeys and the hams when we get them, but we don't get those to the last minute.
Okay.
So yeah, I would think that we could just put a drop box I mean, honestly, if somebody comes by and steals a can of peas, they probably needed them. So I think we could just put a drop box, like underneath the stairs at the back of the fellowship hall. And whenever we go in, Michelle and I can check and put things in the kitchen for you.
Now, in the past, everybody's made their own box.
Yeah, the box is already done.
Box is already done, because if we ask them just drop stuff off, we're not going to get much. We're going to get 3 or 4 items, and then we're going to run short.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm a stranger in these parts myself, so you got to help me here. I don't know if dropping it off at the church is the best idea at this point. Maybe it'd be better to choose 2 or 3 homes around our area that they could drop the boxes off at. I don't know, whatever you all figure out. I'm already voting.
I can get them to drop them by here, because I've got plenty of room to store them and stack them, and I'm in a place where just about everybody goes past one time or another during the week.
That kind of makes sense to me, because you and Wanda are going to wind up stacking up the boxes when we get ready to distribute them.
Okay, I'll come up with something and get it to Michelle and get that out.
And if somebody drops a box off by the church, we can let you know. I can bring it down to you. You know, if there's some reason that they can't drop it by your house.
Okay.
But
Okay, where are we? Did you have something else, Pastor? I know you had the Halloween, and you said you had 2 things. Maybe you already addressed them.
I think we've already nailed them down, Bill.
Okay.
Reminder charge conference is this Saturday. And we'll be sending out a Zoom invitation for that. You know that annual conference was an abso-stinking-loot train wreck. So they've decided to reschedule it for Halloween. So we've gone from the train wreck to the horror show. I couldn't make that up.
Yeah, good luck with that.
All right, moving on. David is not here. Robbie's not here. Robert Smith, you've done a terrible job on worship. We haven't met for 6 months.
I have sung at every service we have had. I have been, you know, whatever. So, and I have noticed that our pastor's YouTube account suddenly has a whole flock of Christmas songs. I thought that was a little early, but I haven't listened to them yet. But so.
Got to get ahead of the curve, Robert.
I know your sermons are usually like a week or 2 ahead, but this is a couple months. So
Robert, he's in sync with the retail world.
Okay, you don't have anything, do you, Robert?
No.
And you have anything for fellowship?
Yes, we'll all be at church at 11 o'clock Sunday morning. Wear your mask,
What month
There you
is
go.
that?
huh? Didn't hear your question.
What'd you say, Ann?
I didn't hear your question.
I asked if you had anything for fellowship.
No, we're not fellowshipping.
Okay. Nancy had nothing for mission. I have nothing for the trustees. Anyone have anything else before we go watch the football game?
Hey, bouncing
No
back
one.
to worship for a second. All Saints Day is coming up.
Yeah.
And, you know, usually I light candles and, of course, it'll be a communion Sunday as well. There won't be much of a message. We'll be remembering those who helped us along our way, as well as those we've lost in the past year. You know, this is completely new territory for all of us. I don't have the foggiest idea how to do All Saints Day except just do it like a Zoom service we've been doing and invite people to call out names and share stories. But if you've got any great ideas about how to make All Saints Day more meaningful and powerful under the current constraints, please let me know. Bill, I'm done.
Encourage everyone to light a candle. I don't know.
Bring your own. Do you plan on doing communion again this that Sunday?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Let's see, what day is that?
November 1.
Sunday.
November 1.
2 weeks
Okay.
from yesterday.
Stop.
If that is it, Pastor, may we have 3 lines of prayer or longer if you want.
Lord, we thank you for this time together, and we thank you, Lord, that you're not done with us yet. We ask, Lord, that you would show us what we need to receive so we can move beyond this as a more powerful church, a more grounded church, a more spiritual church. Lord, unite our hearts and help us to reach those who need to be reached. And Father, we'll give you all the praise and glory in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Okay.
Amen. Amen.
Good
Love
see-
you all.
Good night, all.
Good night, Bill. Thanks.
Janet, give me a call about Halloween. Let me know what you want me to do.
Okay. Thanks, Ann.
Mhm.